Buy or sell Fred Warner saying Dee Ford looks quote unquote great, Jose?
I'll buy that. He thinks he looks great. I'll sell that. I think he looked great. I don't think the question is never if he looks great. No one ever questions performance this year because even in training camp last year, not as good as you.
Thanks.
Not as good as you. But I would say even last year, I remember our first 2 weeks in training camp, Ford looked okay. I was telling you, I was like, dude, Ford looks pretty speedy against Trent Williams. And Williams was holding his own. And then out of nowhere, the back injury and such. I mean, it's never a question of can he perform. It's a question of can he stay freaking healthy? You know, how healthy this guy's made of glass. I don't care how good he looks, because as soon as you think he's hitting his stride, where's Dee Ford? The guy pulled a Houdini on us out of nowhere with his injuries. So we just don't know about this guy. He's the most unreliable player on the team, easily. And he's the most wasteful money more than anyone, just Jimmy Garoppolo or anyone. I think Ben or Sanel last time we talked about it's by far. And that's why they got Ebukam. And that's why that comment just a minute ago, if he's the real deal, he doesn't have to be the real deal. He just needs to be solid. If he's solid, that's fantastic, because he's most likely going to be called upon more than what everyone thinks. And right now, I don't care. Dee Ford, you know, if you're telling me over under 8.5 games he's healthy for, I'm going to say under. I have no faith in this guy being healthy. Production-wise, if you told me he's going more, cool, he's going to be solid. But that health, man, that's great. Does he look healthy? Let's worry about that, because Kyle Shanahan and Lynch keep saying he's going to be ready for training camp, but that all means nothing because you never know when he's going to get injured.
Yeah, I really agree with Jose on this one, in that I sell the fact that, you know, I buy the fact that he looks great. You know, I'm sure he does. He probably looks really good running around. But the reason that you sell is because this guy's, he has a back injury that we don't know what he's going to be. All he's got to do is go out there and twist one time the wrong way, get hit one time, the wrong way, and he's gone, and we don't see him again. So, yeah, that's the way I feel on this one.
Yeah. And I'm right there with the two of you. I'm sure based on what Fred Warner sees from his two own eyes of Dee Ford working out against air and just running with no contact, I'm sure he does look great. He's an athletic freak. But when it comes down to it and he needs to be on the field and he has to make it through training camp, I'm selling that I think that Dee Ford can do all of that. Like Jose touched on, he's just way too inconsistent with his or he's almost consistent with the way he's able to not stay on the field, I should say. So yeah. He's consistent in the wrong way, Yeah. But yeah, if you can even just get half a season from him and he can just provide some pressure on third downs periodically throughout the season, that's a huge win. The way that I see it, there's two extreme wild cards on this team, one on each side of the ball. You have Jalen Hurd on offense, and then you have Dee Ford on defense. If you get any productivity out of Dee Ford at all this upcoming season, that's a huge win, even though you can bring up the points about his contract. But anything from Dee Ford is a huge bonus, because like everybody else, we're not really expecting anything from him. How could you, based on what we've seen over the course of the last 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to buy that he looks great. I'm sure. I mean, he's in great shape. Jimmy Garoppolo looked great sitting on the bench last year. He's a really handsome guy, but
he was in the press box taking notes.
That's fair. Hey,
like a journalism that you are, Clark Kent.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, he looked like a classic journalist up there. I mean, probably had better seats than Grant did.
He did. He absolutely did.
The one thing I'll say, and I'm glad Nick brought this up at the end, Dee Ford's contract is I mean, it's hilarious to kind of look at now. That's the only way I can say it, because this year he's a $9 million cap hit. Next year he's a $12 million cap hit. Then the year after, when he's not on the team, they're still paying him money just so that they could restructure his current deal. So if the 49ers get anything from Dee Ford, it's kind of like, it's what Nick was saying. It's like Jalen Hurd. It's just gravy at this point. So, yeah, do I buy he's looking great? Sure. But until we see anything, I'm just not going to believe it.
Yeah, he always looks great until there's contact, and then he breaks. Let me just give you the history of Dee Ford, because we only know the last couple of years, but this has been his history since he got in the league. All right. So he went to Auburn. He came to Kansas City, 2014. All right. He played 16 games and played 122 snaps. Okay. That's 12%. That's a standard year for Dee Ford. 2015, he was 23 back then. 2015, he plays in 14 games, starts 5, plays 479 snaps, 44%. That's a huge year for Dee Ford. That's the third best year he's ever had in terms of playing time. Then in 2016, ups it again. 14 starts, 799 snaps, 72%. Oh my God, throw him a freaking parade. 2017, though, 6 games, 316 snaps, back to being classic Dee Ford. 2018, he has his big contract year, 1,022 snaps, 87%. I don't know how he did it. The Niners fell for it. And since then, 226 snaps in 19 and 46 snaps last year. It's what he does. He doesn't play football and stay healthy. I'm sorry. He just doesn't. And the Chiefs knew it. The Niners should have known it. I don't expect him to suddenly be durable. It's never who he was. He wasn't durable at 23.
Yeah. The 49ers really got bamboozled back-to-back years. Jimmy Garoppolo, Dee Ford. I mean, ugh.
They get bamboozled or they didn't research enough, because there were some training camps I remember that Dee Ford wasn't even participating in because of precautions.
True.
Yeah, maybe they got bamboozled with Jimmy. I don't know as much.
I like the word bamboozled. I think we should say it 8 more times if we can.
Bamboozled.
Swan Song says, if Jimmy G gets a season-ending injury in 2021, Dee Ford's contract will look like small potatoes in comparison. Yeah, man, Jimmy Garoppolo is this close to being the next Dee Ford, but on a way bigger scale. And it's like the Niners, the difference between the Niners and the Rams is that the Niners can get away from Garoppolo's contract easier than the Rams could with Goff, unless Garoppolo gets hurt again. So they're that close to being kind of in the Rams situation. Jeremy says, can we keep that same energy with every position? Everyone looks good running around or throwing. Yeah, there you go. I feel that.